Hello again, it's Dr. Garrett Castleberry here to orient this audience for the COM 211 experience. In this video, we are going to talk about a key assignment that students are tasked with each week in the course. The assignment itself is geared around the idea of allowing students space to process the readings that we tackle in the class and do something with them. We refer to this in long form as our weekly readings discussion questions assignment. And one of the offshoots of this assignment is that there will be opportunity for the instructor of the course to potentially use those questions as raw materials for digital lectures in what we call a digital Q&A response to the student inquiries. And so it's an opportunity for students to put their labor into practice toward a greater end. Now, we may all be familiar with a traditional classroom setting where discussion questions could be a part of that curriculum. Students would perhaps bring questions to the table at a designated time, or instructors, faculty members might have some assigned questions that they write on the board or hand out for the class to look at. And this is following that similar spirit. Our task each week is that you're keeping up with the readings, that you've acquired the books and you're making use of them. And this is really meant to be built as a reward mechanism so that you find purpose and reward in investing in that reading process. Now, because we're moving at an accelerated cycle, and because our course often meets asynchronously, meaning on your own time, away from a live audience online, this can create boundaries. What we're attempting to do through this exercise, however, is lower or lessen those boundaries by demonstrating that we can still communicate with one another through an asynchronous exchange. Meaning, I might be looking at questions written 1 week ago or 2 weeks ago that were furthermore drafted and thought about hours prior, maybe days before that. And so we can still generate a dialogue, a healthy dialogue that's informative and educational if we're buying into the spirit of that exchange. However, one thing we might want to think about is the level of perhaps labor or effort or detail that goes into these questions. And so aspects of the question writing process can be a way for us to grow in our craft over time. Ideally, students are tasked with writing 2 questions per reading per week, which probably averages out to somewhere in the neighborhood of 4 to 8 questions a week that they will be generating. And there is a philosophy behind that. Sometimes we ask one question out of thin air, and it might be a generic question, the same type of question other people would ask. And so the opportunity to ask multiple questions per reading per week is a chance to help promote the possibility that we're asking more refined, different, unique, creative, interesting questions and not just the same generic takeaways. Occasionally, it's all right to have questions inspired by the readings. That is to say, maybe a question that's on your mind in a general sense. But quite often we do want to focus back on the readings themselves. There will be secondary readings at times and secondary screenings, maybe short videos, possibly even some media screenings that are assigned in the content section of D2L. You'll want to check that each week. And when you do, this is an opportunity to recognize there are more media to ask questions about, okay? And so when we do have these secondary options, one question is perfectly satisfactory when tackling that assignment. If all goes well, we will look to find ways to provide feedback in the form of those digital lectures. And in addition, if we sense that momentum is pushing or pulling us in one way or another, we'll continue to innovate ways for you to have your voice heard and ways for us to process this information, because really what we're doing is co-creating knowledge. I hope you appreciate the readings and enjoy that reading experience. Look forward to your questions coming in as we work through COM 2113 together, media culture and social influence.